my dreams and my goals as a kid, I've wanted to be a professional rugby player, if I remember correctly. I tried, but destiny had something else planned for me, I guess. I always had a green thumb. We had a very nice garden at the house at home, and whenever my dad went into the garden, sure, I was right there next to him. Seriously. And I always had a love for I'd say gardening. I had no idea when you were at that age, when I was young. I mean, I could have been between the ages of 7 and 10 years old, when I was so next to my father all the time. I didn't know people do this as a career, you know. And then I played cricket for Bluebells Cricket Club out in Grassy Park, from junior right up until senior level. But when I was a junior, the facility that we had, there was no contractor there, so the club itself had to prepare cricket pitches, and we had one main square where the first team and the second team played on. And then on a Thursday evening, my dad and my uncle used to go there, and they would prepare the pitches. They'd bring the roller out, and then you a kid, you just getting excited. You want to be, you want to operate the roller and whatever. And and my dad would be like, yeah, okay, but he would start it, and then I would push it and whatever. And that is how it became interesting for me. And that knowledge always stayed with me, because when I myself became, a couple of years later, a first team player of the club, it was the same struggle years later, no subcontractor. And then I was fortunate enough that I knew a little bit of cricket pitches, and I started with the people that was already at the club, helped them to prepare the cricket pitches, and even then I learned even more. But then after school and after university, I went into my electrical field and the case may be, and then I got a post at Newlands Cricket Stadium. There was a time where I was on leave. That was at my previous job, actually, before Newlands. I was it was in October, I think, of 2012, and then my brother asked me, what you gonna do? So I said, probably going to go to gym every day, or whatever the case may be. He's like, no, come to Newlands with me to the cricket. So that was the ICC Champions Trophy at the time, and my intention was to come and watch cricket. And then my brother's friend, who was Evan Flint at the previous groundsman here, my ex-manager, I just went up to him and I said, he asked me, come and help us, and I said, yeah, okay, I will help you. And it was so nice being able to volunteer here, and how can you say, I enjoyed the work. I wasn't actually doing any cutting or mowing, but we were involved pulling the covers on. In October it's raining, no? So you're running here in the rain, you pulling covers on, off, and whatever. And I enjoyed it, just to be part of the atmosphere, knowing that you're part of the behind the scenes of the people that's actually making things happen. And then I just made a joke with Evan. I was like, if call me up if there's a post available here. In December of that year, if Evan didn't know what my working situation was, or even if I had a job or not, he called me and he asked me, are you interested in coming to work at Newlands? And then I dropped everything that I was involved in, everything that was my work and everything, and I took the job at Newlands. And then a year from that time, Evan called me into his office, and then he asked me what would I think of becoming his assistant here. And then I told him, well, before I do that, I want to know why you're asking. Because everybody else that was here, I was learning from them. And he came to me, and then I told him, I first want to get myself qualified academically in this field, because my academics that I have has got nothing to do with horticulture. And then he agreed, and then the Western Province Cricket Association paid for my studies at Cape Technikon, and I studied at a horticultural college in Johannesburg.
Okay.
It was called. It's in a place called Hekpoort. I promise if you it's so far up north. If you open up your bedroom window, you can see Zimbabwe. It's that's like it. But okay. It was nice there. It was there was a lot to learn there, and everybody there was very helpful. But I took a lot of focus. Because I went alone up there. But okay, that was very beneficial to me, and I came back qualified. Took my Cape Technicon diploma, and then from there I became the assistant.
So you brought me to your workspace, I would say. This is your workroom where you keep your work garage, where you keep all your equipment. Just tell me generally what type of equipment do you have in here, and when do you mainly come to this particular space? Is it all the time, 24/7?
Well, most of our equipment are kept inside. Mostly our mowers that we use for the outfield and for the pitch. During the winter season, we keep our rollers also in here. But I took them out here because I knew you wanted to come inside here. But when the season is on, I try to come inside here not as much, so that to get my whatever I need, get it out in the morning, and then just bring it back in the afternoon. I don't want to be in and out here the whole time. Because we also share the ground staff quarters with the equipment, so you don't want the machines in and out when the guys are also resting and those type of things. But it's just a storage, so whenever we need something or store something, that's about the only time we come inside.
And I see there's a lot of lawn mowers over here, quite a few. Are there different types? What are the difference between the types of lawn mowers?
So we don't have any high construction mowers. We have maintenance machines, which is basically what you mostly require during a cricket season. So we got a verticutting machine, a pitch verticutting machine, which is actually the most important machine in my opinion, but the most underrated machine. It's a machine that it removes the dead grass out of the pitch, and it promotes new growth. And then we got 1, 2, 3 pitch mowers, which basically works every single day. And they are all at different heights. You can set them at different heights. We got 2 outfield mowers, 2 Toros, which helps greatly. We only used to have 1. We've been sponsored by CSA with another one, which works perfectly. And we have what very few people have. We have a Jacobson outfield verticutter. Yeah, that thing. I would suggest that every groundsman should have one. What it does is it allows you to do a secondary cultural practice in the season, which is basically a big outfield machine of the pitch verticutting, what I explained to you earlier about the dead grass. So we have one for the outfield, so we don't have to actually go and hire one, and saves us a lot of money. But that is, I think every groundsman should have one.
So you told me about your shed and your workplace, etc. And you're obviously in the off season now. Is this one of the machines that you use in the off season?
Okay, not actually. So this is a machine, right? That is it's called a phrase mower. So what it will do is it will take all the grass off, all the existing grass and whatever, and it will promote new growth over like tired areas and whatever.
Okay.
You with me? So this is a machine that you would use in the winter, not in the summer, because you will have no grass in the summer if you use this thing.
So Sham, we're here now in one of the most integral parts of cricket, the pitch. We've heard so many stories about pitches that have been prepared and been asked. Certain groundsmen have been asked to prepare certain pitches and whatever the case may be. But I mean, generally, what does it take for a groundsman to actually go about and prepare a pitch?
In order to prepare a cricket pitch, there's many factors involved, such as cutting, watering, compaction. But a pitch requires compaction. That's your most important thing. You can have as much grass on there as you want. You can have your moisture content can be whatever. But without compaction, that's your most important thing. Where the groundsman actually comes in is where he needs to apply his skill to put all those factors together and create a recipe in order to get the best cricket pitch available to the players. Because the players also play a very important factor, right? Because you get different caliber of players in a team, and certain players want different things, right? So you try to create a playing ground that suits everybody, which is a very difficult task. Here at Newlands, you have 14 pitches, right? We have 4 pitches for warm-ups that we use for on game days. And then we have 10 pitches that we use for provincial matches and for domestic games for the Cobras, and we have 5 TV pitches for international games. But each pitch has its own character, and those are the type of things you discover through making mistakes and trying different things, and then you learn after what you've applied, what the pitch gives back to you.
So I just want you to tell me about Evan Flint and what type of influence he had on your career and what he's done for you as a groundsman.
Me and Evan had a discussion, and I needed him to put me under pressure so that I can see what I'm really capable of. And he didn't shy away from that. Like, he put me under serious pressure. But I took up the challenge, and I'm glad at that time whenever Evan did his reviews and whatever with me, or there wasn't a single day that went by where Evan wasn't thankful. Oh, most of what I become now to him, he's made work so much fun here that it made you easy for you to ignore the amount of pressure that you're under, and you're able to do your job, because and that's a very difficult thing to achieve in a work environment like this, because there's so much at stake when you get things wrong on the ground that's always on your mind. But myself and Evan, we were able to work out a working type of relationship where you completely forget about that. Look, Newlands is the iconic ground. How can you say that this is where South Africa plays? This is a test match ground. You forget about all of those things, and when the only time that you actually wake up and you realize is when people come here on game day, and then you're like, super sport, South Africa's here. Then you realize, yeah, it's no joke. And that was the nice thing working with Evan, that he always encouraged you to do things better. He was always open-minded to doing things different. For every test match, every single test match that we've prepared, we wouldn't start with going onto that square and discussing, right, what step are we going to take, how are we going to go forward, and if we had a problem, we would come together and we will troubleshoot together. And what made things easier also and better was that Evan allowed me to lead him at certain times, and I think that is what made Evan also so successful in his career, that he was able to try things differently, and the way he did things rub onto me, and I applied that also in my line of work, and I think if I didn't, I don't think I would have been able to learn as much as I did so quickly.
So just tell me some of your goals for the new season and how you're going to approach this new task as being the Head Groundsman at Newlands.
Okay, so there are many new tasks for the season ahead. What's happened was the stadium is now under a new development construction, which is a very good thing, and we're all excited about it, of what the new development that's taking place and what is the end result's going to be. It has minimized our capacity, our storage capacity, and so we are now having to go into operations where we have to do things completely differently. So it's going to take you out of your comfort zone. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm actually very happy that it is like that, because it allows you also to use it different part of you of yourself that's maybe been either tired or you haven't used it before, you know. So those are the type of challenges we are facing, but we're positive and we're excited of what's coming ahead. We've never shied away from a challenge, and for every challenge that we faced, I can honestly say that we've come out on top. So whatever the challenge may be, I'm confident that we'll be able to approach it in a positive way.